It is the Riot on RadioU. Welcome to our podcast. Obi is a part of the podcast, but just not for this intro. And it is the final, hopefully, episode that Obi will be doing from home. He is actually all expected to be back and better tomorrow in the studio. So thank you guys for, bearing with us while he was broadcasting from home for a bit. If you want to say hello, make sure you text us 877-2RadioU. Include your name and that you're a podcast listener, and then we'll see that when we're next in the studio. Or you can always follow us at RadioU Riot on our Facebook page and make sure you say hello and just message us there. Enjoy the podcast today. Thank you for listening. Bye-bye.
The Riot. They're kind of a big deal.
Hey, can we do that again? Maybe a little more energy?
No. RadioU.
So you can text and you can call 877-2RadioU. If you text, I might see it. If you call, you're not getting me.
Well, I'll get you guys. Obi's still broadcasting from home, but I'm still here in the studio.
Yeah. It feels like this was the eventual end game of my life, just living in a basement somewhere.
But you wanted it until it happens. Anytime it happens, then you're not happy when you're there, but you think it's going to be amazing until it does actually happen.
That philosophy degree with all those retail experience, eventually you just move into the basement. That's just where you go.
That's all you do.
So thanks to Gannon, who actually texted us Friday, but we didn't get to it by the end of the show. But dude, there is something going on in Michigan that is amazing.
I didn't read the story because I knew it was going to be so perfect. I wanted to wait till we had a chance to talk about it together. But when I saw the title of it, I just knew. Here's the deal. This guy goes into a Meijer in Van Buren Township, Michigan. So that's a grocery store. More like a grocery store / household, like a Walmart.
Yeah, it's like a super Walmart, basically, or something like that. And so we don't know what kind of a box it is, but apparently they had security footage of a man going into this Meijer, just pulling a box off of a shelf, pooping in the box.
Oh, you heard it. You heard it right.
Pooping, number twoing, defecating
in a box.
And then just putting the box back on the shelf.
So the one thing I was curious about, did they catch him or were they just looking back at the security footage when someone found the poop box? Did they go back to footage and now they're trying to locate this guy, or what is it?
They are trying to locate him. They don't know where he is. They say he stole something, we don't know what, before he left the store, and he got in a Ford Escape.
Is that it?
Yeah, well, that was gone a long time ago.
Can you imagine you're just shopping and you're like, what's that? It's like, man, this place stinks.
Somebody brought a baby through here. Is that you?
What
Did you do that?
Or you're like, where's the bathrooms at? Like something is wrong. But no, it's right there on the store. And then I feel so bad because it's an employee or someone has to deal with that.
My big question is just, where did this happen? Was this just in an aisle, meaning or did he take the box to a more secure location, fill it, and then return?
So they didn't share the security footage?
Well, they did. They originally had the security footage out there. They put it on Facebook. The police did. And Meijer was like, hey, could you take that down?
We want to find the guy, but we don't want to show this, okay? We don't want to give people ideas.
We don't want people to know that this has happened, could happen, or might happen again.
I do not understand people who either get kicks out of this or just mentally why they feel the need to do this to the fact that they know the shock that's coming, even if they're not there, that's enough for them to go and do this in a store.
I don't know. I can sincerely say, one, I don't get it, and two, I don't know if I'm physically capable of making that happen.
No, I don't understand how people can just do that anywhere.
I think the mental blocks that were installed at a young age are functioning so well that I don't imagine that I could pull this off.
Well, if there's any updates, if anybody sees any updates on the Michigan box pooper, please let us know, because I want to have closure on this topic. I want to make sure that we know if we find this guy, what his name is, how old he is, where he's coming from, and what his punishment will be.
What if we found out that it was that superintendent guy, and that he's
the pooper?
The superintendent pooper guy they nabbed him for pooping on the track every morning. What if it was him and he's just moved to Michigan and he's like, look, I just have to do this, okay?
If not, maybe we could do a love connection between him and the Canadian lady who pooped at the Tim Hortons.
Perfect.
Maybe they're both single and they're trying to find that special somebody.
They need somebody to connect with.
What you're about to hear will live on the internet forever. Sorry, internet. The worst of the Riot podcast.
Tomorrow's the day.
Tomorrow's
That
the
Obadiah-
Apple press conference.
I was going to say that Obadiah hopefully returns to the studio, but it's also...
Well, I wanted to bring up first something that's a guarantee, because I don't know if you're coming in tomorrow.
We know this is sure.
Tomorrow we have the Apple press conference with details on the iPhone 12.
All right, so I actually have here, if we care, according to, Mac Rumors, and I guess they're well known for having the details up front, I have the price tag, supposedly.
For the new ones?
On the new iPhone.
So wait, do they say, is it the 4 versions? So like the 2 small and the 2 extra big, or?
I'm showing iPhone 12, iPhone 12 Pro, iPhone 12 Pro Max, and iPhone 12 Mini.
Mini, okay. So that is, the 4 versions then.
Okay, so here's what I have. I've got an iPhone 12, and again, remember, this is all rumors, but it has the stink of truth. And no, we're not at Meijer. This would be a 6.1-inch phone, starts at 64 gig of storage, $799.
Okay,
That
for
would
the
be
main, like the normal one?
$799. Now, the iPhone 12 Pro is $1,000, same screen size, different colors, storage starts at 128 gig.
Okay.
The iPhone 12 Pro Max, anybody bored yet?
No, because this is the one, I would look at this one probably.
So this one is $1,099, 6.7-inch screen. So how big is the one you have now?
I don't remember.
Just whatever.
I used to pay attention, but then there were so many, and they came all at different times, and it's just hard to keep straight even what your own phone is.
And then they're offering the iPhone 12 Mini, and that will be a 5.4-inch screen, and it will be $699. So
I just don't feel like that's a lower enough price tag compared to the normal one. I don't know. I have to just see them. I just want the whichever one is the biggest screen.
Right. The iPhone SE, a friend of mine has that. If that was just a little bit bigger, it's $400, and that is a great phone. I actually like that phone quite a bit. It's just that it needs to be
a tiniest bit bigger.
Just a little bit bigger. When I pick it up, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's too small for my meat hook hands.
It also just depends on what you're used to. If you're used to a larger screen, it's very hard to go back down to a smaller screen.
Well, how big is this iPhone 10 I have? Screen size. 5.8 inches. So, it won't be quite an iPhone 12, but, it's also not an iPhone SE, which I don't know how big that is.
It's also just not the same price tag, so it's fine.
It's not. Or, you guys, I mean, real talk, if you wanted a new phone, I almost hesitate to say this, but I had a great experience buying a used phone. Not everyone is going to have a great experience buying a used phone. So I guess, best of luck to you, but so far it's worked out fine for me.
It's worth looking into if you don't want to pay for tomorrow's pricing.
Right, but that's the word. Tomorrow, the press conference, that's the price tag. That's actually, when it comes to tech, that's all I care about. They want to talk about their Dolby Vision screen, and I'm just like, no. How much? So maybe we got the bottom line before it even started. That'd be great.
The Riot with Obadiah and Nikki on RadioU.
So if you spend any time looking at the news, which Nikki and I spend a lot of time doing that, you know that there is essentially several news stories every day telling you about one more way that you're probably going to get COVID-19. And I mean, it's like, it is nonstop. And I love this because it's a jab right at my fat, crusted heart.
Aww.
And that is 2/3 of Americans, according to the CDC, are now at elevated risk for COVID-19
because of weight?
Because we're overweight.
Well, yeah, but they say that about everything. I think that levels actually the playing field because we all are.
So
they're not looking at it the right way.
Like, guys, no. That's not elevated risk. That's the new normal.
That's normal.
You guys keep talking about the new normal. Let me tell you about our new normal, okay?
I mean, we're elevated risk than technically for every other sickness we could possibly get for this winter, but it's normal. I mean, it is just the way it is.
It's fine. It's fine. I mean, I'm fighting through a twindemic over here. Come on. Like,
and what's bad, though, is what do you do when you're stressed and you're stressed about all this stuff is you eat. And then what do you do when you don't feel well? A lot of times. Sometimes you do legitimately feel sick and you don't eat, but most of the time you're well enough to eat. So you just keep piling it on. What are we supposed to do?
I'm so stressed I need a McNugget right now. Right?
I don't know why, but other people, when they get sick, they're like, yes, I couldn't eat for weeks. We lost weight, all this stuff.
It was all veggies and water.
Yeah, and you're like, I managed to gain weight. I don't know how that's possible.
Well, with enough determination and hard work, we can make anything happen.
With enough Sprite and crackers.
Believe in the power of your dreams.
That's
it.
But
no, that's it. The CDC is just like, hey, I guess when we started or whenever, obesity was a risk factor, but being overweight, you were just having a good time. No big deal. But now things have changed, and they're saying that your overweightedness is putting you at elevated risk. So
it's a concern.
So you know what? I'm going to stop washing my hands and take the mask off because sounds like I'm getting it.
It was already a problem anyways.
The CDC loves to hear that.
What's worse than the worst of the riot? The worst of the riot podcast. Yeah. You did this to yourself. Podcast. Riot. RadioU.
So what are the new Monopoly sets that they're trying to sell us?
Now, you might already know about these. Maybe they're not that new, but the one that I'm looking at right now is they apparently have Elf Monopoly.
Oh, for the movie?
Buddy the Elf Monopoly.
I guess I thought they would have had that years ago.
I'm bringing it. Well, you know what? Maybe is that movie like 15 years old now or something? Because you've got Elf breakfast cereal that's hitting this year.
Yeah. And
then you've also got this Elf Monopoly. Maybe they opened up some kind of licensing deal with it or something.
It could be, actually. It sounds a lot like they're trying to do a lot more this year than other years for a movie. And I forget it's always that old. I mean, it's been around.
Why? Like, we should... I mean, this may not be the case at all, but maybe it's just a marketing push because they're marketing something old because there's nothing new.
That could be also true.
Yeah, I don't know. But people love Elf. I mean, I watch it multiple times. Elf exists almost right next to Home Alone in my, Christmas movie lexicon.
Yeah, the list is, there's not as many as there used to. I feel like some of the Christmas movies died off for being as fun to watch each year, but Elf is still totally one of the top ones.
Yeah. Now, Nikki, I could put you in an Elf Monopoly game right now for $39.99 plus shipping and tax.
Oh, easy there. Easy there. I feel like that's too much.
Shipping and tax.
Nope, that's too much.
No big deal.
I thought you were going to say I would maybe pay $22. So I'll wait until then.
All right. Okay. All right.
That's too much.
All right. I said there was going to be more than one Monopoly game,
right? Yeah, let's hear the other one then.
I've got your next one. Now, I could give you the long form name, and I will, but it's basically Baby Yoda Monopoly.
Is it a Mandalorian one or just specifically for him?
Man, it's not even Mandalorian. It is Star Wars The Child Monopoly.
What's all the characters then? Are they all Baby Yodas or?
You know what? I'm looking. Yes. They are 4 different Baby Yodas that you get to take around the board.
That's smart, because then they can have a Mandalorian one and then still have a Baby Yoda one.
It looks like this might be like the family edition of Monopoly, so maybe it has different rules or something. I don't know, but they say it's supposed to be a fast-dealing version of Monopoly, not the long, drawn-out, boring version.
The Baby Yoda can't last the normal length of the game. I mean, he's tired, he's ready.
Yeah.
So how much is that one going to be?
That one, dude, it's $16. So
maybe
it's not as bad, right?
I just don't feel like Monopoly recently.
I'm not buying any more Monopolies. I've got too many collector's Monopolies that still have shrink wrap on them.
So you're not even playing them once.
I'm not buying anymore.
Giving every novelty food the publicity it so blatantly desires. It's The Riot on RadioU.
Nikki, guess what came today?
What'd you get?
Well, I guess it was actually Friday, but
are we
I got
opening it together? No.
No, it's upstairs, but I got my absentee ballot.
Oh, did you? Did you decide to do it that way?
I did, because I have no idea what America looks like on November 3rd or whatever election day is, and I thought,
better safe than sorry. Just mail
I'm
it
just
in.
I'll mail it in. I mean, we all know that whatever the mail-in ballots are probably just getting put in a shredder anyway.
Yeah, if you're going to either believe that or not, or you're just going to vote in faith, or you're going to go vote in public, like in person. Those are the options that we have.
Okay. Like, I get it. Like, election, America, it's important. But the amount of go vote propaganda that is being thrown at me nonstop. I turned on my Xbox and it was like, "Are you registered to vote?" Like, what is this?
Hands raised if anyone is sick and tired of every time you log into any social media site for it to constantly remind you and bug you, even if you hide it. It just acts like you've never been asked before, because we've registered, we voted before, we know how to vote. I wish you could just turn it all off, and then they realize, oh, this person's good, they know how to do it, they're fine, they're going to vote.
I'm starting to wonder if they're trying to go the other direction, because I got to tell you that oppositional defiance disorder, which I've never been diagnosed with, but I feel like I have, is that they've told me to vote enough that I'm like, no, I'm not going to vote. In fact, I'm never voting again. And don't say anything to me about it.
I don't know if it's necessary, the defiance disorder, but I think it's more fatigue. We legitimately get fatigued when it comes to politics and voting and stuff. So when it comes to the day to actually vote, some might not, because they're so sick and tired of hearing about it all.
Well, and there's this element of, I will say, that I feel like that everybody feels like they have to be topical. So, like, we got to get out there and we got to say something about the election. But we don't want to make anyone angry. So we'll just get out there and tell people to vote. And when we tell people to vote, people will love us, because they'll be like, wow, look, they're telling everybody to vote. They're great.
Well, even though 9 times out of 10, everybody who's telling me to vote, I know which way and what they're trying to do. So it gets annoying. And you just wish we could have saved it for, like, the week of. Then just leave it all for that.
I will say that sometimes I want to be like, you know what? If you knew how I was voting, you actually wouldn't want me to vote. What do you think about that?
Uh-oh, something to ponder.
Obadiah and Nikki tried their hardest, and that's what really matters. This is the worst of the Riot podcast.
Again, Nikki, when you live in your basement, as I have begun doing, he's
broadcasting from home, and it happens to be in his basement. But it's not like you've been there long. You're fine.
You're right. Sometimes there's like a little cutout window at the top, and I stick my head out there sometimes.
You get some sunshine.
Just get some fresh air, just like... And I've started to dig, like I'm digging a tunnel a little bit at a time to get out.
Sure, well, we'll see if Obi makes it in tomorrow. Like, I know on Friday, if you can come in before Friday, if you feel better by then, because we will be checking in with Shane from Everything in Slow Motion, because we got a new Music Friday with him coming up on Friday.
You guys all heard that, right? Not the new Music Friday stuff. That's important. But you heard the subtle pressure that was being applied to me by my workplace to return. And that's got to be like against a HEPA rule or something.
It's not. I'm just encouraging you. Will you please come back to work soon? Which is actually me just encouraging you. Will you please feel better?
Nikki, why don't we, let's begin negotiations. Actually, no. Let's begin planning my Hes Back return to work party.
If you make me plan a Hes Back return to work party, I don't think I can.
I want you to do this.
I can.
I can see that you have a pen out. I want you to write this down, okay? Chocolate cake with buttercream icing.
I know your cake order. I know that one.
Okay. And you know what? You can just put welcome back on the cake. That might be less expensive, because they may even have one of those.
Yeah, I could just go that day of.
I also have, and I can share this in a couple of minutes, but I have a potential return to work present that you could buy for me. And you could just buy it, pre-order it today, and that way you'll know it'll be ready.
Would you say I'm an agreeable person? Like we're just going with the flow, but I don't know if asking me to plan your coming back party, whatever day it is what we should be doing.
It's just, it hurts.
Is this why you left in the first place? Is this it?
Guys, I'm so underappreciated. I think everybody can see why. why I wouldn't want
to come
be
back.
there.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
I mean, I think I mean, everybody hears it. We all see it. And I'm glad. I'm glad this happened because now when I tell people when I tell them what it's like, they'll believe me because they'll be like, "Oh yeah, you remember that one Monday when Obadiah was trying to throw himself a party and Nikki wouldn't be on board?"
No,
obviously.
No, it's not you throwing yourself the party, but you want me to throw you the party for when you come back.
Well, yeah. And Nikki, okay, here's the thing is, I don't want to make you do it. I want you to want to.
I hate that. Next. We want you to come back whenever you feel better. And you just surprise us which day that is, okay?
Just whatever.
Just show up whenever you would like.
The whining, the loathing, the insightful commentary on postmodern historical doctrine. Okay, maybe not the last one. You're listening to The Riot on RadioU.
Nikki, I see you got yourself a little cup there.
I made myself a little morning coffee. It's not as good because no one else is in to make the coffee in the morning. So yeah. I rustled up a little leftover. I added some creamer, and we still have a can of whipped cream. I don't know where it came from. I don't know how old it is. But I just added a little of that, and it's fine. It's just a nice little treat this morning.
Could we, instead of calling it whipped cream, could we refer to it as revitalizing cream?
It brings back the coffee. And what I do is, you're not supposed to put it on the top. So this is just something that I started doing. I add creamer to the cup first. I do ice. Ice, creamer, whipped cream, and then I pour the coffee over it so it kind of all melts and smushes down.
Actually, I think you could skip all the steps because you just described ice, creamer, coffee, and
whipped cream, and then coffee.
Cream. Why don't you just get some coffee ice cream?
Ooh, actually, that's a great idea. Maybe that's what I want with a little ice. I want to drink it, though, so I don't technically want ice cream.
Yeah, well, you just melt it. You put the ice cream in the microwave, and you're done.
You know how they have the flavored chocolate milks? What I need is a coffee version of it with whipped cream and, creamer taste, which is basically ours, just a vanilla one, so...
Well, you just described a Frappuccino that you could stop at any gas station and get. I'd probably. So, but you add the whipped cream on top, of course.
Yeah, but no, I don't like to add it on top. If you add it on top, you can't incorporate it. And I really like it to melt into the warm coffee when I pour it over on top of it.
Okay.
So you get the creamer and then the whipped cream, and then the coffee is the last part of it.
You've got a whole
system. I do.
Yeah. And you know what? I'm impressed. It's not wrong.
Whatever you do to make it work in the morning is perfectly fine. You do you, and that's what I'm doing.
Normally, I don't eat breakfast before the show, but today, because I was home, I made myself an egg bagel.
Did you?
I did.
Oh, my gosh.
I did. I made an egg bagel. So
you're never going to want to come back in once you start realizing you got breakfast time now.
I see what you're saying there, but see, if you do the work that we were talking about on that party, I'll feel like I need to come in.
Yeah, I'll have to
because
bring you
I wouldn't want to. I wouldn't want to disappoint Nikki with that big party that she's been putting together.
I don't know.
Remember, Nikki, I want you to want to do it.
To want you to come back.
Yeah, it's important.
The worst podcast with the best listeners. This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
Nikki, I forgot. I told you that I was going to tell you exactly what you could buy me for that welcome back party that you're planning.
Oh, yeah. And, what's your idea?
Then we ended up talking coffee, which I don't mind. I like a good bit of coffee talk.
It's not a bad, place to end up talking about. But no, what was your toy idea or what's your gift idea?
Well, Nikki, did you see the announcement that coming out on December 1st, The Lord of the Rings is going to be hitting home video in 4K on Blu-ray?
Oh, you mean it hasn't been 4K before? I'm kind of surprised about that.
It has not. So there's never been a 4K Blu-ray. It's been rumored for a while. But they say that coming up December 1st, you can get The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit, which is trash. So
unless it's just bundled in, I mean, if it's there.
Well, they did announce you can buy them separately, but then I kind of appreciate the fact that they did this. They announced that next year, like this ultimate box set is coming.
A party pack of all of them.
Like all of that stuff in it. But this year you can only buy them separately, which is great because I don't want The Hobbit.
So
ever.
It goes back and forth between being on Amazon and being on Netflix, but has it ever been 4K anywhere?
No.
No, it's never been.
So the big quandary that I'm having is this. I got the Lord of the Rings, like the big extended whatever box set on Blu-ray for Christmas 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. And what do you think I'm going to say?
Do you need the 4K one?
Well, I want the 4K one.
Why don't you sell your box set now?
Well, you see, the thing is, you're missing it. It's right here, but you're missing it. What do you think is on that box set right now?
On the box set?
Yeah, on the box set I got for Christmas 2 years ago.
Well, like physically on it? Are you using it as a stand?
No, it's just still wrapped in plastic.
Oh, you haven't even opened it.
Actually,
I can't
all right.
be in your mind. I can't. It's hard. It's hard just to be and to see this side of you. It's just very hard.
That's actually not true. I did open it, but I watched.
I
opened
way?
it. Yeah, I opened it. I watched The Two Towers because I went through and reread Tolkien, and that you might not. Okay, man, we're getting way in the woods here. But when I was rereading Tolkien, it's the only time I've ever cried on the air. I started talking about it. Do you remember that?
I do remember that. You were really emotional about it.
I was so emotional about it. But yeah, that's when I went back and watched it, and so now I probably need to watch it in 4K.
Well,
right?
just decide. So if you want to get rid of your box set, you got to sell that now before you get any closer to it, and then buy the 4K version.
What do you think it's worth? $5?
You're going to want to look that up. I don't think it's much more than that, but
it's not even worth selling at this point. All my Blu-rays, I made a stack of Blu-rays like pre-COVID. I was trying to give them away. People wouldn't even take them.
They're just not worth anything.
They're like, I would rather have the shelf space than your stupid Blu-ray.
I would say that too. I would totally put it like that.
I get it.
I don't know.
All right.
But that's coming in December if you want the 4K Blu-ray set for the Lord of the Rings movies and the Hobbits.
All right. So that's out there December 1st. And you know what? I'm always up for something else to have plastic on it that I can put on the shelf.
Obi has the shelf space. He's fine with it.
We'll get the shelf space.
Where do you go when you need someone to listen to your problems and give you a big hug? Not here. Obviously, this is The Riot on RadioU.
Oh my gosh. Off air, Nikki just said the best thing ever to me.
I thought I told you about that.
No, so we're talking Lord of the Rings because it's coming out
in
4K at the end of the year. And she said that this would have been an Eric dating story, I assume.
Well, you
guys were going to the movie together?
Yeah, to go see Lord of the Rings. And it was the one that had the large fight scene. Is that the second or is that the third one?
The second and the third one both have one, but the second one is probably the one you're thinking of.
But I remember him telling me it was like 40 minutes for this like battle scene, and I had not read any of the Lord of the Rings stuff. I had seen the first one with him, but I remember being so nervous, like I've not been in a movie where you were supposed to stay and watch a scene, but the scene was like so long. And I remember just asking him like, well, what if I start not to feel good? And then I missed part of this thing. Like, what's going to happen? It was just the sheer volume of the battle stuff. And then just the length of the movie was quite intimidating since I didn't know what was going to happen.
So she says to me, she's like, well, what if I get sick? What if
I have to excuse myself? Like, it's so long.
Dude, my uncle and I went to something they called Trilogy Tuesday. They showed all three of the Lord of the Rings movies, the director's extended edition.
So it's like the whole day, right?
Yeah. I mean, we went in at, like 11 and got out at 2 a.m. or something like that. It was a ton of fun, but we get in there and they're like, hey, because you guys are here for this and you had this lanyard that you had to wear, you could go to the concession stand and everything was $1. And except for popcorn, like popcorn and soda were $3, but you got unlimited refills for the entire day.
Oh, that's awesome.
You drop $6 and you could eat popcorn and drink soda for 15 hours if you're that insane.
But if you wanted candy or like nachos, that was $1?
Yeah, or hot dogs.
Or hot dogs.
And that's what my uncle did.
Did he get a hot dog?
We're an an hour into Fellowship of the Ring. So that's 1 hour into like 15 hours at the theater that day, which is crazy. And he's like, yeah, hot dogs are $1. So he goes out and gets like 2 or 3 hot dogs, brings them back, and eats them. And like, I don't know, a half an hour or so later.
Did he get sick from the hot dogs?
He gets up and
no.
runs out of the theater.
Because it was too much. Your body can't handle that many movie theater hot dogs.
He couldn't handle it. And so we have this whole day left. And I'm like, hey, you know what? If we got to leave, we got to leave. And he's like, no, I'm fine.
Oh, did you guys drive together too?
I don't think we did. I think I met him there. But he went out to his car and he like had a pillow and he brought it back and he was like,
oh, he didn't feel good. See, that's the worry.
At the beginning of 14 hours of movies. And so the idea, Nikki, you see, you had something he didn't have. You had the foresight to know.
I was worried ahead of time. Yeah, it was a possibility.
It was a possibility.
For sure.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Sorry, guys. A little self-indulgent, but one of my favorite memories of all time in my life.
Let's just think about how nice. You remember going to the movies, how fun that was, how nice it was.
That was a whole different life ago.
Yeah, it feels like a long time, but a lot of fun.
Tell us again, Grandpa, about how you used to sit in a room with strangers and watch TV.
This is the worst of the riot on RadioU.
I pretty much have established that I never want to live in Australia because there's just too many things in Australia that can kill you.
Well, there's too many things that are the extreme version. So, like, here we have snakes, but there the snakes are extreme. Here we have sharks, but it seems like the sharks there are more extreme. Every little thing seems to be an extreme version.
Spiders.
Yeah, spiders, like, we would never want to deal with it. It's on another level.
It's crazy there. But the thing is, I feel like Australia is infringing on our southern borders in the United States, because when I read this stuff about Florida, I'm like, man, I can't ever live in Florida now.
Well, I mean, this has been...
It's America's drain. It's the Australia of Florida.
It's our Everglades, and our Everglades are, unfortunately, a dumping ground when it comes to... little Jimmy got an exotic snake, but can't handle it anymore. And so they go take it to the farm, and the farm is the Everglades. They go put it out there, and it thrives. That's the problem. These Burmese pythons thrive in our Everglades, but they destroy the Everglade ecosystem because they are not native there. They take it over, and they just grow massive. They're huge snakes that are not supposed to be there.
Well, this is incredible. They actually, over the weekend, set a record for the largest Burmese python that they've ever caught.
Did they do it during, were they doing their big snake thing, or was it just someone who just found it?
You know what? I actually don't know if it is the time of year for that snake hunt that they always do, but I'm not sure. I also think that they have some people that are licensed to hunt snakes all year.
Oh, really? They pay a lot of money for it.
They do. The Florida Fish and Wildlife or something like that, they actually pay people to hunt. And they picked up this snake that was 18.9 feet long.
I don't think unless you saw it in person, I don't think we can understand the scale of it. I don't think you could actually get how big this snake is.
I think I would be utterly terrified of it.
You wouldn't know how to process it. It's like a movie snake, like the big ones in the movies you see, but it's actually in front of you.
It's crazy.
Ugh.
It's crazy.
But he's dead,
and
right?
To think,
is he gone?
He's gone.
Did they kill it?
I think, you know what? I assume they probably, they must have. Here they are just holding it. But
maybe he's playing dead.
You can watch footage of them wrestling this thing out of the woods, and it's just like, what are you guys doing?
They grow really well there.
They said that they're calling it a once-in-a-lifetime snake as a hunter. They say there's basically no way that they'll ever find a snake that big again. But just stick around. They grow every year.
What if this was a movie, that would have been the baby snake, and what you don't realize is that wasn't the mommy snake. That's bigger, and it's somewhere else, and she's mad.
and J-Lo and Ice Cube are hunting it.
They all come in. Yeah, that's the movie right there.
The Riot. Not everyone's a fan.
I wonder whose idea this was.
RadioU.
So I don't know exactly how Zippia has put this together. There's some kind of like a job posting site, and they're just trying to drum up some excitement about their brand.
Well, and also to realize, like, oh, if you want to go for a job, which job, where? Like, which location, where, which state should you be moving to? This can tell you based on the candy or chocolate bar that is the chosen one per state, especially as we get close to Halloween time.
So according to their research, along with Google Trends, we've got to look at favorite Halloween candy by state. Now, I'm saying let's start on the West Coast. We'll make our way in, and we'll talk about, places where RadioU is currently broadcasting over the air.
Well, let's start with California.
The Crunch Bar.
That's pretty good. That's good. There's nothing wrong with
bad.
that. It's
Washington.
It's a solid choice.
I agree with you. Like, you hand me a Nestle Crunch Bar, I'm not mad.
Yep, you're
I'm
fine. Might not be the best, but it's not the worst.
I'll take a Crunch Bar. I'll take a Crackle. Sure, whatever. Then you got in Washington, the Kit Kat.
Yes.
Which Nikki and I are fans.
We do. And you don't need any fancy Kit Kat flavors. You could just go with a straight Kit Kat, and that's also good.
Remember a time when Kit Kat was the flavor.
That's the original one. I know they come out with amazing ones too, but just even a basic Kit Kat is still a good, strong choice.
So, Oklahoma, we have Runts.
I find that an odd one, but that's okay, I guess.
Well, I can tell you there was one particular former staff member of RadioU that loved Runts.
He did like those.
And he would collect the banana ones and hand those out because he would eat the bananas.
But he would eat the other flavors? Did he also like Mike and Ike's, or was that someone else?
I don't remember.
I put those two in the same category.
See, I'll eat a Mike and Ike. I don't love it, but I'll eat it.
Well, it's not for any of the states, though. I don't think anyone chose the Mike and Ike.
So, continuing our eastward journey, we find ourselves in Michigan, where the Junior Mint is king.
Oh, interesting choice. Very interesting.
I like Junior Mints, guys. I actually love mints in general, like Junior Mints, York Peppermint Patties.
So, a chocolate mint combo you do enjoy?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. State of Ohio, we've got the Blow Pop.
It's a strong candy sucker choice. Again, you could get worse choices. You could get a Dum Dum, but a Blow Pop is not the worst.
You know, Nikki, it's funny that you bring up Dum Dums because the state of Indiana, that's their choice.
Oh, is that the one? See, that's not interesting enough to me. I would have rather at least get the gum with it.
Yeah, like give me something.
I don't know. Maybe they're made there or something like that. Like it's a home favorite.
Maybe it is. And like because of Google Trends, so many people are looking for jobs at the Dum Dum factory.
Yeah. Well, now the one out of the list that everybody was making fun of the most is New Hampshire, I think it was, chose circus peanuts, which we don't understand. So
I'll tell you right now, if the choices are you can have no candy at all or you can have a circus peanut, I'm taking no candy.
Pass.
I don't like circus peanuts.
And we don't understand why it was chosen, but there must be something about New Hampshire and circus peanuts that it's a Google trend.
I'm out. Now, and I understand, like, some people would say that my candy flavors are suspect because I'm a fan of the mellow cream pumpkin, and that's fine. I'm okay with people thinking poorly of me, but I'm just telling you right now that I'm out on circus peanuts.
That's a pass.
Yeah. Though, okay, you know what? What would be, just real quick, like, if you could have any candy.
Snickers.
Any candy.
Snickers.
Don't
even have to think about it. Snickers bar.
That's it. That's it.
Proper planning prevents poor performance. Clearly, the Riot didn't properly plan. This is the worst of the Riot on RadioU.
Just want to check in on buyer's remorse one more time. There's somebody on this show, not going to mention any names.
But there's only two choices, so let's see if you guys decide who we're talking about.
Okay. So, I mean, you got a 50-50 shot at this.
You might get this wrong.
Somebody on this show right now paid an additional $30 to receive Mulan in advance.
Oh, that's me. Oh, man.
Oh,
I thought it was going to be you. We weren't going to
mention any names.
No, you know what? I was excited and proud at first, and then I watched the movie, and it was so not what I wanted it to be. And then I had buyer's remorse. I would have been perfectly fine if the movie was good.
Do you see what has just happened? Look, whoa. I mean, we just had a moment right here. You might not know it yet, Nikki, but we had a moment. I keep buying movies and not watching them.
Yeah.
So.
And you're happy.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh. I bought the movie, watched it, and what happened? I became unhappy with it. So that'll stop me from buying the movies. You keep buying movies because you don't actually watch them and you're not facing that disappointment with your choice.
Incredible.
Oh my goodness.
Incredible. Like, breakthrough, guys.
Yes.
We're in counseling and we just had a big breakthrough.
We had a breakthrough moment. Oh, I'm so proud of you.
I have to go write. I have to go write about this. I got to get my journal.
Right now, you would have the disappointment, and that's a natural thing you should be having. So when you have more of that disappointment, it stops you from buying it in the future. Whoa. Wow. Yep. There's actually something to this.
The worst of the riot is over, but the fun can keep going.
Hey, I saw you checking out my goods.
Check the Riot blog or stalk us on social media.
You want to sample them? A little try before you buy, huh?
Through riot.radiou.com.
I got to put the serial pooper on hold for just a second.